Have you ever been faced with a decision so big it could change the course of your entire life? What if that decision came with whispers of doubt from those around you? Today, we're diving into the story of a man who found himself in that exact position, Joseph, the earthly father of Jesus. His quiet strength and faithfulness are a powerful lesson for us, especially during the Christmas season. One of the problems that we run into is finding faith in the unexpected. As Christmas approaches, we celebrate the birth of Jesus with joy, lights, and family traditions. But how often do we pause to consider the individuals God chose to carry out His plan? Last week, we talked about Mary, the courageous young woman who said yes to God's extraordinary plan. But today, let's shift our focus to Joseph, a man often overlooked but whose role was pivotal. Joseph faced a situation that could have left him confused, hurt, and doubting God. His fiancée Mary was pregnant, and the child wasn't even his. Can you imagine the weight of that being on him? Society's norms would have given Joseph every reason to walk away to protect his reputation. But Joseph didn't do that. He trusted God. He acted on his trust. When we look at this, I think the first thing that we have to look at is grace over judgment. And let's look how Joseph handled his dilemma. In Matthew 1:18 through 19, we read, "This is how the birth of Jesus, the Messiah, came about. His mother Mary was pledged to be married to Joseph, but before they came together, she was found to be pregnant through the Holy Spirit. Because Joseph, her husband, was faithful to the law and yet did not want to expose her to public disgrace, he had in mind to divorce her quietly." Joseph had every legal and cultural right to shame Mary publicly, but he chose grace instead. Imagine the courage it took to go against societal expectations to protect Mary from humiliation. This teaches us something profound. Even when we're wronged or confused, we can choose kindness over condemnation. The challenge for us is when we face difficult situations, do we lead with grace? Joseph's choice shows us that compassion often requires us to have courage. The second thing I think we need to look at is trusting God in the unseen. Joseph's journey didn't stop at quiet grace. God stepped in with a clear directive in Matthew 1:20 through 21. But after he had considered this, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, "Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins." Joseph had to make a choice here: believe God's message or rely on his own understanding. He chose faith, even though it likely meant facing gossip, rejection, and uncertainty. His obedience was immediate. No questions, no delays. A challenge for us is thinking about this. How often do we let fear hold us back from saying yes to God? Trusting Him means stepping out in faith even when we can't see the full picture. The third thing I think we need to look at is walking in obedience, no matter what that cost may be. Fast forward to Luke 2:4 and 5, and it says this: "So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child." Joseph's obedience didn't just happen in private moments of decision. It played out in action. From marrying Mary to traveling to Bethlehem with her, and his life was marked by a willingness to follow God's lead, no matter how inconvenient or how uncomfortable his journey might be. His journey reminds us that obedience often requires perseverance through life's challenges. Here's the challenge for us: are you willing to follow God's path even when it's hard? Joseph's actions demonstrate that obedience to God is often an ongoing commitment. It's not a one-time decision. Let me tell you a modern story of quiet obedience. A man named Dave felt called to serve at a homeless shelter. At first, he resisted. He was busy with work and family, and the thought of spending his evenings helping strangers really felt overwhelming to him. But one day, he read Proverbs 3:5 and 6, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Convicted by this verse, Dave said yes. And over the years, he built relationships, shared his faith, and even led some folks to Christ. Like Joseph, Dave's obedience to God's call wasn't flashy, but it was faithful, and it challenged and changed the lives of others. We can do that this Christmas, and let's take a page from Joseph's story. His quiet strength, his trust in God's plan, and his unwavering obedience inspire us to live with faith and with courage. We always need to remember God often works through ordinary people who say yes to His extraordinary plans. As we celebrate the birth of Christ, let Joseph's example remind us to lead with grace, trust God in the unseen, and walk in obedience no matter what the cost. And I know I've repeated that several times, or a form of that throughout this, but it's so important. Take some time to reflect on Joseph's story. Ask yourself this: where is God calling me to trust Him more and trust Him more deeply? How can I show grace to someone who doesn't deserve it? I want you to share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how Joseph's story inspires you during this Christmas season. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more encouragement every Monday morning. And if you like this video, I really think that you'll like this one right here.